Hello, everyone, and welcome to Seasons of Serverless, which is a different kind of seasoning than you may think. Spoiler alert from my Latka-themed shirt here. It's almost the festive time towards the end of the year, and I don't know about you, but I'm thinking a lot about food. So I have some very, very special people here to talk tech and food and seasoning and serverless. Welcome, Jen, Eric, and Darren.
Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to listen to Seasons of Serverless. This is 7 weeks of savory, succulent, smashing things. I don't even know how many S's we can fit in here, but it's all about the food traditions all around the world. So my name is Jen Looper. I'm a cloud advocate on the academic team, which means that we get to deal with everything students, everything faculty, and we're so privileged here to have our first week of Seasons of Serverless featuring North American food traditions. And with us we have Eric and Darren. Maybe you want to introduce yourself, Eric.
Yeah, I'd love to. Hey everyone, my name is Eric. I'm a third-year computer science major here at UC San Diego, and I'm really excited to represent North America here as part of the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador Program. So today I have this really neat little project or sample solution here to show you guys and demo, which will basically tell you exactly how to roast and brine the perfect turkey given the weight in pounds. So we'll take a look at that in just a second.
Hi everyone, my name is Darren. I'm a computer science major from Florence College, and today I'll be sharing with you some Bahamian traditions. And the Bahamas is a group of islands just off the coast of Florida, and I'll also be showing you how I approach the perfect turkey brine problem based on weight, similar to what Eric did.
Y'all, you're making me so hungry.
Amazing.
Has this been proven and tested, Jen? I feel like you gotta try it out.
Well, okay, so I did create a little bit of turkey just so we could taste test it. Spoiler alert, this is actually Trader Joe's pre-brined turkey, but I have to say, as we say in Boston, it's wicked good. So in my situation, my husband is from China and he absolutely hates turkey. He thinks it's loathsome as a food. So for our holidays, we usually have Peking duck, which is absolutely amazing. So, you do what you got to do, but once in a while I like to just, grab maybe like a turkey breast and you try to make it nice. Turkey is very problematic because it's kind of dry if you don't cook it right. So what we decided to do was to just challenge ourselves to see if we could automate or somehow help other developers who also want to be foodies like us to brine the perfect turkey, because that's the secret to a succulent turkey breast, is to get that brine right.
Ooh, I'm so excited. I have had so many turkeys in my life lately. There is an aggressive turkey patrolling my neighborhood and being very mean to people in the Rose Garden here in Oakland. Now I'm dealing with brining the perfect turkey. We're talking to some students from Turkey next week. I'm just so excited for the amount of tryptophan in my life right now. It is really, really wonderful. So, Eric, show us how we can brine the perfect turkey with the power of Azure, a sentence I never thought I would say out loud.
Of course. Welcome to Chloe. So this is actually the very first challenge of our 7 days of serverless. Today we'll be looking at how to brine and roast our perfect turkey. We'll put in all the necessary ingredients, just the right amount. And if we take a look down here, we'll give the instruction for exactly what the portions are relative to the weight of your turkey in pounds. So for example, we have salt here, with the number of cups of salt you want to add to the brine is equal to 0.5, so a scalar, multiplied by the weight of our turkey in pounds. And the same sort of algorithm or formula can be seen for all the other ingredients or recommendations as part of our recipe. So our goal is to implement some sort of function that's going to capture the weight of the turkey in pounds as an input and output all of these things, all of these recommendations that tell us exactly how many ingredients to put into our brine, or how long should we be brining this thing. So that's our ultimate goal here.
Basically, you've made a tip calculator, but for turkey brine, which is something that I need because I am very math averse sometimes in the moment.
Absolutely. All you need to do is make one simple function call and boom, you know exactly how to make that turkey. And that thing's going to be tender, let me tell you. So let's get right to it. So I'm actually going to be using something called an Azure durable function. And I followed this specific tutorial right here, where it's basically teaching you how to create your very first durable function in Python. Now, in case you don't know what an Azure durable function is, it's basically just an extension of the Azure Functions that allow us to create state. So these are stateful functions that operate in a serverless environment as part of our 7 days of serverless. There's some cool things that you can see in the actual code once you get to it, but this will take you through the entire process of creating your first Azure durable function. And so this is what we'll be creating as part of our API to calculate, our perfect recipe for the turkey. So here's the actual code after following the tutorial there. And there's 3 main parts to this. We're going to run through it real quick. We have something called the HTTP starter, which essentially acts as this sort of API captures our API call from a user and starts up our whole function or our whole pipeline. So if you take a look here, it's like it creates our orchestration client, and our orchestrator, which is what the HTTP start calls, is going to be what conducts all the magic behind the scenes. That's the puppet master behind the scenes there. So HTTP master or HTTP start, is going to call it Turkey Orchestrator. And if we take a look at what Turkey Orchestrator does, all it's going to do is it's going to define a workflow for us. So it's going to say, okay, I'm taking in this sort of trigger here. What am I going to do in response? And in this case, we're going to be calling an activity function or an entity function, which I define to be calculate turkey brine equation and roast recommendation. Now, if we take a look here, this is actually the input to our equation here, which we're going to look at in a second. And in this case, I'm specifying my turkey to be of weight 7 pounds. So we can always edit this to our satisfaction, but we'll take a closer look at the actual activity function here. If we pull that up, this here is actually what gets called by the orchestrator. So again, the orchestrator is this sort of puppet master behind the scenes, and it's picking out these different activity functions to basically call one by one, right? And in this particular one, what it's going to do is it's going to take in a weight as an integer and return this helper function call. And if we take a look at the function call here, this is actually where I implement all the logic as part of the challenge. So if you look here, we have some recommendations, which is the hash map mapping our sort of recommendation or the amount of ingredients to put for whatever ingredient we're looking at, as well as the formula included to calculate just how much we need, right? And once we do this, all we have to do is simply round things to 2 decimal places so it makes things easier to read, and then make it look pretty in the form of a string. And we can just return that string by itself, and that'll be returned to the orchestrator, which returns back to the HTTP function call. So,
Eric, you can't even begin to know how happy it makes me to see a hash map that has brown sugar in it. Just bringing the word Turkey Orchestrator into the world makes this world a better place to me. So thank you for doing great work on this.
We're making the Turkey Puppet Master be a force for good. So I'd actually like to give a quick demo as to how this would work. So maybe we can create our own little API call right here. So what I can do is actually press my F5 key. Boop. And what that's going to do is it's going to start up the debug process. So it's going to run all the commands, all the programs. And down here in the terminal, it's actually going to show us exactly what URL to go to make this API call. So this, in the terminal here, we're actually going to get exactly what we need to look up, which is our API function call. So if we come up to the browser and we create a new tab, we can actually just put this guy in and specify the orchestrator that we want to be calling. And if we do that, look at that, we get a response. And what we're going to look for is this right here, the status query get URI, which is going to tell us exactly what to put in our next tab in order to see the output of our entire durable function. So we put that in. We look for output right here. we get exactly what we returned in our durable function, which is for a 7-pound turkey, we'll need this many hours of brine time, 105 minutes of roast time, 0.35 cups of salt, more water, some brown sugar, not too many shallots, and so on and so forth. So you can definitely use this to your own content. You know, if you've got a 7-pound turkey lying around, this is exactly how you want to be doing it here.
You know, just casually calling an API for some peppercorn. No big deal.
With some peppercorn, yeah.
A normal day.
So first of all, I think we should ask Darren what he's wearing.
Yes,
Okay.
tell us about this.
Okay, cool. So what I'm wearing is a Junkanoo costume, and Junkanoo is the most important festival to Bahamians in the Bahamas. We normally celebrate it around New Year's and Christmas time, and it's this big festival down on Bay Street where we have people from all over the Bahamas and even other parts of the world coming to see everyone rush down Bay Street with trumpets, skin drums, cowbells, and it's just so much fun. And I even have this a headdress that I would put on, but it would not fit over my hair.
Okay, so what kind of food traditions come out of this holiday then? Is it turkey?
You could cook turkey, but a little bit more traditional Bahamian food. It's like a lot of seafood, especially with conch.
Conch fritters.
And there's also my personal favorite desserts: coconut and pineapple tarts and some guava duff. I absolutely love it.
Okay, you
my
can
mom-
send those over to us. We'll eat it.
Sorry, coming over
Yeah.
right now. So I actually decided to go with the turkey brine as well, but I took a slightly different approach. So this is a nice little Azure function that I deployed that will give you the weight of the turkey based on the weight, similar to Eric. And I returned it as a nice little JSON so developers can use it in any way in which they want. As you can see here, if I change the query string, and this is the query string right here, let's say my turkey weighs 20 pounds. So I set my turkey weight to 20 pounds, and then it lets me know my brine time is going to be like 48 hours. I need 1 cup of salt, and of course, you can't forget the brown sugar. I'm going 6 cups this time. So, unlike Eric, I didn't use a Azure durable function. Here, this Azure Functions allows developers to just take action by connecting to the data sources or messaging solutions that make it easy to process and react to events. So, as you would see here, it accepts an HTTP request, and you can pass it the query string like we did with our weight. It's going to listen for that weight parameter, and if it's past that, it does our logic right here to create the recipe as a dictionary. And in this dictionary, we multiply the weight times the value specified in our formula. We round that to 2 decimal places, and then we convert that to a string and append the unit of measure. And before we return it, we want it to be a JSON, so it could be kind of like a true API for developers. I just convert I convert the dictionary to a JSON, and then return that as an HTTP response. So I have it running locally, but if you wanted to deploy it to Azure, you simply do that over here. Right click, and then you can start the function.
Nice. All in VS Code.
Oh, Azure VS Code DevTools.
Actually, a fun fact: this is actually my first time working with Python as like a backend thing. I'm totally new to web development.
Whoa! So we have a durable function. We have a regular function. Now let's say I'm a developer trying to make the perfect turkey. What are the differences between building it these 2 ways?
Yeah, I'll take up on that one. So when I was doing my little demo, I mentioned that durable functions is actually just an extension of Azure Functions. So it's the exact same thing, but it introduces more functionality. In particular, we're able to create stateful functions in this sort of serverless environment. This extension allows us to create states, checkpoints, and automates a lot of the tasks that wouldn't would have to be done manually if you worked with Azure Functions. Right? If we remember the demo, I also had a whole orchestrator class, which allowed me to control the workflow of which my API does this sort of stuff. And versus Darren's sort of function that we define, it's really just one function. It's actually pretty difficult to try and say, okay, let's do multiple different stuff and have a more complex workflow. With that sort of stuff, you might want to consider using durable functions. But if it's just a very simple function call, not a lot of stuff going on, probably want to stick with Azure Functions.
And I have a question for Darren. You said that this was the first time you've dealt with Python as a new web developer. Did you find it easy to get up and running with creating your function?
Yeah, so there was a great quick start in the Azure portal that really helped me understand things, and then of course I was chatting with Eric, and he sent me something that helped me out. So it's really good to do these kind of projects with like-minded people. I learned so much from this experience.
Wonderful.
Amazing. Learning about turkey, learning about Python. We got a lot of different animals going on here. We're opening up our own zoo. Well, I'll let you all go so you can brine your turkeys, but seasonings, greetings, y'all. And thank you so much for sharing your awesome Seasons of Serverless project with us.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Bye.